In today's episode on how to invest in real estate, we're going to be talking about boat storage. And I know a little bit about boat storage. All right, so we're going to have a conversation about boat storages and cash flow. But the first question is, where do they work best and what do you look for? Second question is, why are boat storages so dependable? And then last but not least, we're going to talk about some common mistakes that people make when they're going into the boat storage facility strategy for the first time. And I certainly want you to avoid those mistakes. It happens all the time. So where do boat storage facilities work the best? Come on now, strain your brain. Let's think hard. Where do they work the best? Around the lake. Yeah, that's what you would think, right? And you wouldn't do it if it's not around the lake. Now, around the lake is obvious and that's good. I have a lot of boat storages around the lake where I live. Makes perfect sense. But just because you're not right by the lake doesn't mean you can't have a boat storage facility. And that's what I wanted to impress on you. Yeah, the obvious place is by the lake. But there are people that have boats and they don't want their boat that far away from them because maybe they don't go to the same lake every time. Maybe they don't go to the lake at all and they just want their asset closer to them. Maybe they're trying to sell their boat and they want their asset closer to them. I'm just telling you, you don't have to be by a lake to have a boat storage facility, especially if there's multiple lakes around you. The reason why boat storage is such a dependable form of cash flow is that boat storages hold boats, and boats are not cheap. Poor people don't own boats. Wealthier, more successful people own boats. Now, I'm not going to say there's not some poor people out there that don't own a boat, because when I was poor, I owned a boat. But it was given by my grandfather, and it was a little tiny pontoon boat. It used to be called the bass buggy, but the B fell off, and so it was just the ass buggy, and it was so ugly that we just left it as the ass buggy. So that's the kind of boat I owned as a poor person. But for the most part, it's a wealthy man's game or a successful person's game. And that means that they're going to make their payments because you have a certain level of collateral in your boat stall. If they don't pay you, you can overlock that stall and you can take that expensive asset, i.e. the boat, as hostage. And either the owner of the boat's going to pay you the back rent, or if the owner of the boat's disappeared or died or otherwise evaporated, then the bank who's owed the mortgage on that boat is going to pay you because the bank can't get their collateral out of the stall either until they make right with you. So this is why I like boat storages. They're very dependable in the cash flow. Even when my cash flow payment stream stops in adversity, I know I'm going to get my money eventually. I just have to send out the right notices and do the right things, but I'm going to get paid sooner or later, plus the late fees, plus the legal fees. Or I'm going to get a boat. I mean, if a boat costs $50,000, that's cheap. These boats are 80, 90, 110, 120, 130. Boats are expensive. Most of the boats that I have stored right now are more expensive than most of the houses I have sold to other people with seller financing. So it's a great form of collateral and it's a great dependable, durable form of cash flow. All right, before I tell you about the most common mistakes new boat storage facility owners make, I would like to present to you a task. It's not a very hard task. If you've liked this kind of information and would like to support us, please hit that like button and share. And of course, if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. There is a lot more information that we're going to be talking about. I have 20 plus years of experience, and through the next year, one episode per working day, I'm going to tell you as much about everything I can. As promised, here are the 3 things that new boat storage facility owners fail in. Number 1, and the most critical and the very hardest to change, is they don't make their stalls tall enough. Today's boats have ski racks with lights on top of them, with speakers on top of the racks, with skis on top of the racks. Then those boats are sitting on trailers. So it's not unusual to need 12, 13 feet for a regular boat. For a boat, you wouldn't think that you needed that height for a boat, but you do. So go ahead and make sure that your door openings are always at least 14 feet tall so that you never have to say no to someone's boat. The second mistake they make is turnaround room between buildings. These days, the trucks are getting longer. F-250s, F-350s, long beds, 4 doors. The truck's gotten longer itself. And then now you've got the tongue, you've got the boat, and then the motor hanging off the back of the boat. You know, you need at least 50 feet between stalls to make it comfortable. I'm not saying you couldn't get by with 40 feet. You could. But these people have expensive toys, they're successful people, and they don't want uncomfortable positions. If you make the turnaround room a little luxurious, you'll fill up before all the other boat storage places around you fill up. There's nothing worse than coming in off the lake, sunburned, full of beer, trying to park a large rig that doesn't have enough turnaround room at night when it's dark. You don't want that. And it'll save you from having a lot of damage on your buildings. Because the tighter you make the turnaround room between buildings and the harder you make it for your clients to back their rig into their stall, the more times they're going to hit your stalls. And that's never fun for either party. Yeah, they pay me, they have insurance, it all gets worked out. It's all a pain in the ass. So let's just avoid the pain in the ass and give them enough room to line up when they're half drunk and sunburned, okay? And here's a little bonus for all of y'all. If you're going to get in this business or any kind of storage business, find the local club or group or specifically attorney that is drawing up the document so you can put people in using the right documentation. The right documentation is not for getting people in, it's to get them out. And if you have the wrong documentation or the wrong contracts, it'll be very difficult to get them out if you don't want them to stay. Documentation is super important. When you're storing boats or vehicles, there's a lot of things you have to have. You may need serial numbers. You may need insurance policies. You may need on a boat the serial number for the hull and the serial number for the boat motor before you can really have an auction, okay? So in Texas, I'm a member of the TMSA, Texas Mini Storage Association. It's headed by a lawyer who draws the documents and stays up with the ever-changing laws so that my documents are always current and they're always in my favor. All right? So that's one of the last things I want to tell you, and I hope it's a great nugget. Find that association or that group that deals with mini storages in your state. Or it could be nationally, but probably better in your state because every state has different rules and regs. So find that and use their documentation. Now, this kind of learning is great. You're standing over there silent. I'm up here speaking, spilling my guts. But wouldn't it be nice if you could ask me a question right now? If you sign up for my group coaching Q&A call, you can ask questions at will once a week. It's every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. And if you're a member, you can call in at that time. You press *2 to raise your hand. And my commitment during that call is I am going to answer every question from every person on that call. And I don't care if that takes an hour and a half or 2.5 hours or 3 hours. I'm going to be on that call. To see if you're really interested in that call, I'm giving you a free recording of one of those calls. It's called a recording of Q&A. You go to 1000houses.com, scroll down the page there with all the free stuff and click on recorded Q&A call. And it'll be downloaded to you immediately and you can listen to the feel and the flow of that call, and I'm sure you're going to come to the conclusion. If you could make that call once a week, you're going to be a better investor by the end of the year. No doubt about it.